Luke is mistaken. Is Luke in the truth? No, he's not. Graham Wilkes Calvis Novi Testamente. So in Luke 4:6, the devil said to the Lord, all this authority I will give you, and their glory, for this has been delivered to me, and I give it to whomever I wish. No. What? The devil has authority? No. He never has and never will. But Luke wanted us to think the devil has authority. The statement of Matthew next is the truth, because the devil would never try to lie to the Lord. The Lord wouldn't allow it, and the devil knew that. The devil, Satan, never said what was written in Luke. Matthew 4:8. Again, the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, all these things I give to you if you will fall down and worship me. Well, all these things were already the Lord's. First Corinthians 10:26. For the earth is the Lord's, and all its fullness. Now we have Luke 5:8 here. Says, when Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, depart from me. For I am a sinful man, O Lord. No, he didn't say that. Luke 5:9. Still the same. Well, you can read it. The same BS. Luke 5:10. What I haven't read. Jesus said to Simon, do not be afraid. And we will see that Luke 5:1 through 11 is completely fiction. It never happened. And the Apostle Matthew will give us the truth. And then next slide, Matthew, the apostle, has a totally different report on what happened in his gospel when the Lord called Peter and Andrew. Matthew 14, Jesus saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and Andrew his brother. And he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." And next verse, they immediately left their nets and followed him. I think they were pretty eager to do that. Wouldn't you be? The Lord called Peter and Andrew, and they immediately followed him. So Matthew is in the truth. Luke is in the wrong. So what we have at the bottom, the last thing, is Luke doing the enemy thing. Well, because in Luke 5:10, and so also were James and John. Luke is not writing the truth again, and we'll see it in Matthew 21 and 22 next. So after he called Peter and Andrew, he went out and called James and John, his brother. And they, see it in the red, he called them, verse 22, and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. So you have to agree Luke is wrong, right? Because Matthew, the apostle, isn't. And in Luke 5:8, Luke has Peter saying this to the Lord: "Depart from me." And in Luke 5:10, Luke implies the Lord said, "Do not be afraid." These 4 disciples had no reason to fear. They immediately left to follow the Lord. Lying Luke also didn't seem to know that the Lord had already met Andrew, Simon, Peter, Philip, and Nathanael in John's Gospel. John 2:11. This beginning of signs Jesus did in Galilee and manifested his glory, and his disciples were with him. King James Version, this is the beginning of miracles Jesus did. The Apostle John writes, Jesus manifested his first miracle at that wedding with his disciples. But Luke writes in verses 430, 435, 439, 440, and 441 about many numerous miracles done by the Lord before he called his disciples. These are listed in the next slides. But I'm going to point out Luke 4:35 here, because in it we see a demon that defies the Lord. Okay, in red, be quiet. That means the Lord is talking to that demon, and he did not throw him in their midst. And let's get back to Luke 5:10. The Lord said to Simon, "Do not be afraid." Why would he be afraid? They'd already met. Luke 4:28. We have a scene. It's not true. Verse 30. Then passing through the midst of them, he went his way. Luke 4:39. He stood over her and rebuked the fever, and it left her, and she rose and served them. I haven't read, but the truth is in Matthew 8:14. It was Peter's house. At that time, being a disciple of the Lord, although in Luke he wasn't a disciple, but we have the same scene. So he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and served them. Luke is wrong again, right? And at the top of the page, I have Luke 4:40 and 41. You can see that the Lord, according to Luke, started his ministry without his disciples. So in Luke above, we have a number of miracles which are recorded before the Lord called his disciples. But it is in disagreement with the apostles John and Matthew. If you're going to train in some personnel, doesn't it make sense to start the job with those you are teaching? The Lord did not start his work without his disciples. the ones he chose. And Luke 5:10 at the bottom, do not be afraid. We'll get into that. In Matthew 4:17, from that time Jesus began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And that's right where Luke is trying to slip in his lies. Because we see in the next verse, Matthew 4:18, Jesus called his first disciples. In Matthew, the Lord was baptized, tempted by Satan, and after John the Baptist was put into prison, he called his disciples and started what he was sent to do. And the Gospel of John is not in disagreement with Matthew. But in Luke, the Lord started his work before he called his disciples. It's all fiction. It's obvious that Luke did not have perfect knowledge. And Luke hadn't seen the book of John, which came later. Because in Luke and Mark, the things that are bold-faced lies are uncovered in John. But Luke slips into any place it could possibly go unnoticed in Matthew. So Luke, right at the beginning of his book, Luke 1:3, he says, it seemed good to me also, having had perfect knowledge or understanding of all the things from the very first, to write you an orderly account. No, he didn't have perfect understanding. He didn't write an orderly account. And here it is. This is John 1:40 through 48. These four apostles had already met the Lord. Therefore, Peter did not say, depart from me. And the Lord did not say to Peter, do not be afraid. That's total BS. Look it up for yourself. John 1:40 through 48. So, to end this presentation, I'll leave it at this for now, but I will pick it up in the next presentation or two. And here's the thing. The writers of Luke and Mark did read Matthew, but not the Gospel of John, because John's Gospel eliminates Mark and Luke as Gospels. So, in the next few presentations, you will see how this happened. Have a good night. Have a good day. I love you, people.